warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here I will explain about student-centered learning versus teacher-centered learning. Discipline comparison in teacher-centered and person-centered classrooms. Here, teacher-centered. Teacher is the sole leader and person-centered leader is served. Management is form of oversight in teacher-centered. Teacher takes responsibility for all the paperwork and organization. Discipline comes from the teacher, and a few students are the teacher helpers. And teacher makes the rules and posts them for all students. In person-centered, management is a form of regents. Students are facilitator for the operation of the classroom. Discipline comes from the self. All students have the opportunity to become an integral part of the management of the classroom. Rules are developed by the teacher and student in the form of a constitution or a compact. Consequences are fixed for all students. Rewards are mostly extrinsic. Students are allowed limited responsibilities. Few members of the community enter the classroom. And consequences reflect individual differences. Rewards are mostly intrinsic. Students share in classroom responsibilities. Partnerships are formed with business and community groups to enrich and broaden the learning opportunities for students. Teacher-centered and student-centered classroom management. Classroom management is a multifaceted concept that includes the organization of the physical environment, the establishment of rules and routines, the development of effective relationships, and the prevention of and response of misbehavior. Some researchers suggest that it's helpful to view classroom management beliefs and practice at a continuum from teacher-centered to student-centered. For example, Willower found that educators vary along a continuum of belief about the way children learn to behave and conceptualize that this as one's pupil central ideology. At one end of the continuum is the custodial teacher-centered educator, and at the other end in the humanistic student-centered educator. The extreme in the continuum of beliefs are described in the following way. Number one is the educator with a custodial orientation is likely to be highly controlling, employing punitive sanction, moralistic perception, highly impersonal relationship with students, attitude of general mistrust, and a major focus on the maintenance of order. And the next, the educator with a more humanistic orientation is likely to maintain a classroom climate in which active interaction and communication, close personal relationship with students, mutual respect, positive attitude, and flexibility of rules, as well as student self-discipline, self-determination, and independence are fostered. Okay, custodialism and humanism are measured by the pupil's control ideology comprised of 20 statements, each followed by a Likert scale ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree. A high score signifies a custodial attitude toward pupil control, and a low score indicates a humanistic attitude toward control of pupils. Similarly, Wolfgang identifies three philosophical phases of discipline. which include relationship listening, confronting, contracting, and rules consequences. These three philosophical phases of discipline may be placed on a power continuum from minimum student-centered to maximum teacher-centered use of power by the teacher. Finally, Rogers and Friedberg consider what classroom management would look like in teacher-centered and person-centered classroom. It is important to note that although teacher-centered and student-centered classroom management can be seen as both sides of a continuum, it is highly unlikely that any teacher implements a teacher-centered or student-centered approach to classroom management in its first form. These lenses are useful ways of examining the dominant orientation of a classroom. In teacher-centered classroom, control is of primary importance and authority is transmitted hierarchically, meaning the teacher exerts control over the students. Argue that in this classroom, compliance is fluid over initiative and passive learner over active learners. To help teacher maintain control over students, instructional methods that promote a focus on the teacher are frequently used, such as lectures, quiz, discussion, demonstration, and cookbook labs. These forms of instruction lend themselves to having the teacher stand in the front of the classroom while all students work on the same tasks. Similarly, the physical design of the classroom often promotes a focus on the teacher and limits students' activity that disrupt that focus in other ways. Rooms are often organized so the text face toward the primary focal point. In addition, teachers exert their control through a system of clearly defined rules, recognized, and punishment that are mandated rather than developed with the students. Generally, teachers identify the rules necessary for an orderly classroom, and time is set aside for the teaching of these rules during the first several days of school. When students exhibit undesirable behavior, advocates of a teacher-centered approach often rely on punishment such as reprimands, firm, time out, and lots of special privileges. Finally, in teacher-centered classroom, teachers may rely on extrinsic motivation to influence students' behavior. Here, completion of a task is seen as a prerequisite for obtaining something desirable, such as social reward, activity reward, and tangible reward. In contrast, a constructivist teacher is interested primarily in helping the child engage problems and issues, search below the surface, try out various possible solutions or explanations, and finally construct his or her own meaning. In this classroom, teaching methods or strategies include reflective thinking, inquiry, exploratory discussion, role-playing, demonstration, project, and simulation games. What kind of management strategies support the instructional strategies and goals of a student-centered classroom? Since one of the primary goals is to empower students and strengthen their sense of responsibility, Proponents of student-centered classroom management suggest relinquishing hierarchical power structure and sharing control, which they claim will result in a more manageable classroom. And one way teachers measure their control with their students is to elicit students' participation when generating the classroom rules. Another suggestion is to share responsibility by having students complete classroom tasks such as taking attendance or lunch count, updating the calendar, or caring for a class pet. Similarly, students can be given autonomy to decide when to use the bathroom, sharpen pencil, and throw out garbage. Development of interpersonal relationship is an essential component of a student-centered approach. Science positive student-teacher relationship presumably lessen the need for control and become the foundation for all interaction in the classroom. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.